Come join me for the Funhouse Massacre. Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another random horror review. I am your host Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 54 is here on my random horror review series, and I got one here from Scream Factory. Now, I wasn't going to review this film because originally I was not expecting anything from this one, and I was just expecting like a really bad type carnival slasher film. And what I got was completely opposite, so I thought, hey, you know, why not review this film? Because I don't really review a lot of Scream Factory contemporary films. So, yes, of course, from Scream Factory. And this one is a film that came out in 2015, released here on media in 2016, and it is called The Funhouse Massacre. Now, this is the reverse cover art for it, so that's always cool to have. And, yeah, this one right here has got a few familiar faces, and it's got a quick cameo by Robert Englund's in this one. You got Clint Howard plays one of the killers in this film. You also got Courtney Gaines. If you're not familiar with the name, Courtney Gaines is actually the red-haired kid from Children of the Corn, Malachi, and he's also from The Burbs and things like that. He plays the Funhouse owner in this film, which is very cool to see. But getting into the synopsis of this one, basically this one is set on Halloween night, and it is opening night at the Funhouse. Yeah, Courtney Gaines' characters open up the Funhouse, and it's a themed out Funhouse. And what that means is that it's basically based on these 5 notorious serial killers that are housed up at this asylum, you know, way up in the hills and things like that. And they're all, the Funhouse is all specific to their their torture scenes and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But of course on this Halloween night, these 5 serial killers have broken out of the asylum, and they made their way down to the Funhouse, where the audience is supposed to be seeing fake carnage and things like that. But of course that doesn't happen because these serial killers have shown up, and they start killing off people for real in their old ways in these specific scenes. And now it's up to a couple of the main characters, the sheriff and the really stupid deputy, to basically, you know, stop the carnage. So that is the premise of the film right there. Now, my thoughts on this one. Wow, man, I was pleasantly surprised in this movie. This is why I'm reviewing it, because otherwise if I didn't like it, I probably would not have reviewed it, but I was very, very surprised by this film. Now, first off, the storyline seems a little ridiculous, but, you know, it does come full circle, and there is a reason why, you know, these serial killers end up at this fun house and stuff. It has something to do with, one of the serial killer's daughter and things like that, and there is a reason behind why they end up there, which I thought was actually kind of cool. You know, it's not like whoa, blow your mind type storyline stuff, but it's actually kind of cool that they threw that in there, and I was like, you know, it's got a pretty decent storyline, not too bad. One thing I did like about this film is the killers themselves, and you can see right on the cover here, what we got here is we've got a dentist, we've got a killer clown, we've got a killer cult leader and his daughter, we've got a cook, and we've also got a taxidermist played by Clint Howard. Now, they're all specific, and I love this setup because, you know, they get to the Funhouse and they just kind of go to their specific scenes and they set up shop and then they start killing off people. Very, very cool. Really enjoyed that. You know, as for the characters in the film here, not bad. You know, we have a lot of cliched characters, but, you know, they're not annoying at all. You know, like the main characters. Of course, we've got, like, you know, we've got this black guy and this nympho Asian chick that are always having sex in public, and then we've got these 2 kind of stoner dudes that remind me of like Shaggy and Scooby completely. All they're doing is smoking bud and looking for candy apples and stuff. And then of course we've got this kind of like this recluse male character and his girlfriend. They're not really sure where they stand. So you've got all these type of characters, and you've got this hard-ass sheriff, and you've got this really stupid deputy that is basically on the same level as like Dewey from Scream. So these are kind of like your characters that are supposed to stop the carnage and stuff. Man, honestly, one of my biggest complaints with this movie is the simple fact of the comedy in the film. Now, this movie was actually pretty well done. Now, on IMDb, it's labeled as a horror comedy, or a comedy horror. I kind of disagree with that. It's more horror than comedy, and what I mean by that is it kind of flip-flops itself. It plays itself serious in a lot of scenes, and you know, it'll have this like really kind of cool serious scene, and it'll kind of skip into like this comical scene a little bit. Kind of goes back and forth, but there's definitely a lot more horror in this one, and I think this film would have worked a whole lot better if they just had to drop the comedy element, especially the stupid deputy. I mean, if they dropped his character, it would have dropped out the you know, the interactions with him and stuff, and it would have been a lot more straightforward. But it's just kind of a minor, you know, something a little minor that I didn't like about the film, because I think it would have played a little more serious, would have been a whole lot better. But as for the film and more of the specs and stuff, I was pleasantly surprised with this film overall. You know, the carnage starts right away. The killers are all very, very cool looking. Especially the clown. He's kind of the main killer in this one. Maybe a little minor gripe on the film too with the 6 killers is that it's more or less the clown and the daughter in the film. You know, they don't really utilize the taxidermist, which is played by Clint Howard, a whole lot in the film. They don't really utilize the cook and of course the dentist, but their scenes are pretty cool and stuff. But the biggest surprise for this film for me was the amount of gore and practical effects that were involved in this one. I was pleasantly surprised to see nothing but practical effects, lots of gore, lots of blood. Well, I should say more blood than gore, but there is some really cool gore scenes in this one too. And the kills were cool. The fight scenes were really cool. The carnage, you know, the editing, the way this film was shot and stuff was cool. And it was a pleasant surprise to see a carnival film where they actually do show the carnival, or the, you know, the funhouse, or whatever you want to call it. And the sets I thought were really well done. You know, it's low budget, but they're very cool and very set up. There's a lot of, you know, kind of details in these scenes and things like that. So they took a lot of time to actually focus on the specific scenes themselves, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, this one does get a little crazy towards the end. Maybe some scenes in it that are a little goofy and things like that. But you're gonna get that when you try to throw those comedy elements into a film like this. But you know, overall, my overall thoughts on this one, I liked it, man. I really enjoyed it, man. Besides the stupid deputy and, you know, the minor comedy elements, this was a fun watch. It really was, man. I was kind of digging the characters. You know, you don't really get to know them. There isn't really a lot of character development in the film, but at the same time, you don't really give a shit either, because it's more about watching these killers take out a whole pile of random people anyways. And I do like the fact that there's 6 killers in this film, 5 major serial killers and a daughter, and, you know, so there's just nothing but carnage. There's, you know, and they utilize that throughout the film, and I think that's fantastic that they didn't just kind of like, oh yeah, here's a kill here and there. No, they go full force in this one, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, man. So the Funhouse Massacre, I don't want to give anything else away about it. You know, most of the stuff I did like in this film, like I said, my biggest gripe with the film is probably more or less just the comedy. You know, that was a big part for me. And I wish I had seen, you know, some of the killers a little more in it, but, you know, minor gripes. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I know that sounds really high, but I think I'm just more surprised than anything about this film. You know, great practical effects. And that's the biggest seller for me, man. Biggest seller. And it looks good. You know, it was nice to see a very refreshing funhouse that actually looked kind of cool. And, you know, like I said, the main killer in this film is the clown. You can see him on the back there. Fuck, he's a monster, man. He's like a combination of like Jason Voorhees and like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's just massive and just massacres people. It's really, really great, man. But cool stuff, man. Very cool. Nice to see another Halloween film set in a funhouse. Awesome stuff. 7.5 out of 10. I'm blabbling on. I think that's all specs. The music in the film is also really cool too, so I dug it. But that is going to do it for episode 54 here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys back in episode 55 pretty soon here, because I've got a couple other ones that I have to review. So that I'm actually looking forward to review, I should say. But check you guys then. And as usual, peace out.